loyalty.
Yeah, but you're talking about modern though. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, come on, step up to the mic.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to the people, man.
Yo, what's the business? We the business. It's your boy Dolla, aka I am Maurice _Everett. Make sure you follow me on every platform you can right here. Boy shot. What's going on, huh?
Dolla, aka Maurice.
Yeah.
I met this young man. Well, I'm gonna say the most impactful moment in meeting. Illinois Media School.
Yeah.
Where he was one of the students there. One of the standout students there, matter of fact. Let's not just say one of the students. One of the standout students there. You know who you got student, no knock to nobody, but you got those that show up, and then you got those that show up and show out. Broski showed up and showed out on a daily basis. So much to the point, I know you got chosen to be on the move.
Yes, sir. I was.
You know what I'm saying? I was program director of the move at the time. He was doing his thing, and you know, even when you don't necessarily get the role you want, you know, so you gotta sometimes you gotta embrace the role that's given to you and just shine at that role. I think it was sports.
You gave me sports at the beginning.
I gave you sports at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then you switched over
to news you can use.
News you can use. There you go.
Perfect for me.
And
perfect for me.
He took the news you can use and took the news to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Hence, here we are, Dolla, man. You didn't. I didn't even know that you started off as an artist.
Oh yeah.
And then that transformed into the whole media thing. You know what I'm talking about? So you still doing your artistry?
So as of right now, I kind of fell back on the artistry just because I know what it takes to you gotta put a lot of attention to detail to whatever it is that you're pushing. So it's like I don't want to be over here pushing a rap thing and then pushing the network and then pushing the radio. Just too much going on. So right now
you're trying to focus on
yeah, just focus. And you know, I've been an artist since I got my first record deal when I was 13 years old. I'm 37, bro.
Okay.
I'm dead serious. So, you know, I got my first, as an artist, I got my first record deal with Self-Made Entertainment with Payroll and Sawed Off.
Big ups Payroll, R.I.P.
R.I.P. my boy Pay.
Man.
So yeah, I was signing in when I was 13. That was my first deal.
Okay. That's
Second
what's up.
deal, I was 15. Solo deal was with Plug Productions with Jimmy Gardner and, you know, Chip.
Yeah.
DJ Chip, all of them guys.
Chip, boy.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I'm an older guy. I'm an older guy, but you know, I've been outside my whole life. Like my mentors is like Cap One and Bump J and shit.
Cap.
Shout out to Cap.
Because Cap, because
favorite everything right there.
Hey man, Cap was I feel like Cap was the real originator to the swag of what we would call rap.
I agree.
He just dressed different. His bounce was different. The flow was different.
Man.
The stuff he was, you know, the music that he was dropping here in Chicago was like letting us know Jeezy was coming, Future was coming.
Yeah, that it was bigger.
It had a whole different wave to it.
Very true.
And so salute going out to Cap One, man. So fast forward to the media. What made you want to get into the whole radio thing?
So fast forward into the media thing, like so since a kid, I always had a big voice. My voice has always stood out from everybody. So after going through the trials and tribulations of the streets and hustling and trying to figure out how to get a dollar, I bumped into 40 grand. So I get 40 grand and
you see bump.
He just bumped into it, just like hey 40.
Right.
Hey, how you doing, 40 grand?
What you doing here?
Hey, how you doing here? 40 grand.
I kind of just,
I've been looking for you.
I bumped into a 40, you feel me? So
40 grand, I've been looking for you.
But in the midst of me bumping into the 40, like I said, 40, where you been at, shorty?
So you get your 40 grand.
I get the 40, right? So I was gonna do a Heroes on Wheels.
Oh, okay.
That was my plan with the money to do a Heroes on Wheels because my uncle owned several Heroes in Indiana.
Right.
So I was gonna do Heroes on Wheels, and then in the process of this, I had a recording studio, but I was selling crack. So I stopped selling crack.
Okay.
I started to tell you, right? So I was selling crack and shit, and then in the midst of me selling crack, I bought a house and I put a studio in it, right?
Wait a minute. So we bumping the 40,000.
Before the 40. Okay.
Wait, no. So I'm saying we bumping the 40,000.
Yeah.
Instead of getting the Harold's truck, that would have been an easy flip because that would have made your 40K back. But you said forget the Harold's on Wheels. You start selling crack.
No.
You got the house first. You bought the house, then you start selling crack. This is getting interesting.
That nigga been getting crazy, ain't he, dog? People look different.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. before the 40, I had a studio.
You sure you want to finish telling the story?
Yeah,
Man? I mean, there's a
Before
statute
40.
of limitations. So we
Way
good.
to go. So before the 40, I had a recording studio. So I was shifting my money through that, but I had bought a camera in the midst of it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of me stepping out of the game, I had bumped it to the 40.
Okay.
So then I bumped it to the 40.
So while you had the studio, you was recording people and selling crack at the same time.
I was selling crack and I recorded. Now, this is a true story. Absolutely every artist out of Gary, Indiana in the last 10 years that has became somebody, from S. Jones to Yo Santala, anybody from Gary that been to my studios and then signed my walls, and they know these stories I'm telling y'all.
So you know some people.
Bro, I've been doing this.
Okay.
So outside my whole life, bro. And I just been out. So when I started doing the crack move, my uncle was like, I got this house, nephew. Like, meet me at the house. I went to the house. He like, you can put the studio in here? I'm like, yeah, like it's yours. So I got the house and I put a studio in it, and in the midst of it, all the rap, I had the biggest producer in Gary, and then all the artists, I would go to them and be like, yo, you need studio time,
or you need crack, either one.
No, I wasn't selling them crack.
Okay.
Crack upstairs. Studios in the basement.
Rap house, crack house.
Let me tell you a story, right?
Okay.
So in the midst of me getting out of the crack game, and in the studio house, my house get raided one day.
Oh,
so one day, my girlfriend's outside. You think she get to yell like, "Hey!" So I look out. There's police everywhere. So they come in. So by the time they come in,
like kick the door.
No, because the doors was open and we seen them coming in. So when I opened the door, they just came right in. They had to kick the door. But before I opened the door, I'm the only one flushed everything. All my uncle, everybody just touched shit. I done flushed everything. Police come in. I'm like, man, ain't nothing but a studio. Yeah. We see your studio. We get another call. We crushing everything. No more studio, no none of it. We know it's a studio, yeah, but we know other things is going on in this house.
Wow.
Damn. So yeah, so that's what I really come from, that type of shit. So in the midst of that, I bought a camera and I started interviewing all the rappers, singers, promoters, tattoo artists, barbers, all of this stuff. Like I had another house and I started building like sets in my basement. I had an idea for a podcast. With my brother James Worthy, we came up with the idea for Who's Your Favorite Podcast? Not Who Is, but Hoosier.
Yeah, favorite podcast. I like
so we
that.
came up with the Who's Your Favorite Podcast, and we started shooting in my basement. And shooting in my kitchen. And my ex at the time was like, y'all got to get out of my kitchen. But I'm going to help you with the basement. So I put different sets in my basement. I started there, and I started doing all these interviews with rappers, singers, promoters, tattoo artists, and Gary, and all these other things. So I started creating an idea of what I wanted to do. And after that, I built up so stop selling crack. I got the 40 grand. I bought all this. So and then
said, this is getting interesting.
Yeah. So I stopped selling crack, and I got that 40. And with that 40, I started a landscaping company, and I started a media company. So
come on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So in the midst of it, so when I got the money, the people who owned my family with the Heralds, I'm like, I got the money, let's do the Heralds. They like, you sure you want to own the Heralds? Like, it's a monthly fee we got to pay and all this other stuff. And you sure? So, but first I thought she was hating on me.
Right.
But the last thing she said to me, Blizz, was, you might want to invest in something that you into. And that registered with me. So when I left that conversation with all this money, I'm like, Reese, you got to do something. So I bought a bunch of lawnmowers, I bought weed whackers, shit like that. And then I bought a bunch of Canon equipment, podcast equipment, laptop, shit like that. And then I just
by the way, this morning radio, you about 4 inches in. So I like that. I ain't got it like that.
This is just safe.
We split. I want to let you know we splitting the fine today.
No.
We splitting the fine. 22%. I'm sorry.
We that's 4 SHITs.
Take it out my check.
I'm taking out your check. There you go.
All right. So from now on, it's MF. So okay, MF, but don't stop cussing up here. All right. So in the midst of that, I started the landscaping company and the media company. I called it Dream Rich TV and Young Man Landscaping. So I started doing all these, I had this idea for what I wanted to do, and I just started interviewing all the artists in my area. And then I had 40 videos up, and this is how it happened. So when I bought all that equipment, podcast equipment, I started going to all the clubs. So I would go to the Loft. The Loft, you guys know about the Loft.
Big ups to the Loft out there.
Playhouse, Voodoo Lounge. I would go to every club in Gary with my podcast equipment, and I would set up my table, and I would interview all the rappers when they go on stage, when they come off stage, the guy in the camera taking pictures and all that. So I just started getting real into it. Like, yo, come here, holla at the P. And I would go live, and I called it Dream Rich TV Live. Dream Rich TV, just Dreaming Rich. So I started taking my equipment to all these different places in the city. And it happened like this for real. So my sister called me one day, like, Reese, I see what you're doing. My friend Lauren is like director down at Illinois Media School. I'm like, okay, cool. That was on Monday. Tuesday, I go out with my equipment. And on Tuesdays, this guy walking around with camera taking pictures. I'm like, hey, man, come in, let me interview you. So he sit down, he's like, yeah, man, I'm out here taking pictures. Shout out to my school. I was like, what school you go to? He's like, Illinois Media School.
That was it.
I was like, okay, so this is two things. This happened in 3 days. Wednesday, I go out to the Voodoo Lounge. What's good? So Wednesday, when I go to the Voodoo Lounge, it's a woman walking around with a camera. She's setting up her little area. And she come up to me, she like, man, boy, I love what you're doing. Like me and my teacher trying to do exactly what you're doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's your teacher? And while she was saying this, I'm like, yo, here's my flyer. Go check out my content. She was like, I already checked it out. Me and my teacher trying to do what you're doing. I'm like, what's your teacher? She was like, I go to Illinois Media School. So this happened to me, excuse me. So this happened to me in threes.
That's weird.
Literally happened to me in threes. So by the third day, I'm like, Reese, just make the call.
You'd have had 3 people. First off, your people tell you, don't invest in the Heralds, invest in something you might be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You start walking the journey, you hear 3 people mention Illinois Media School.
Within my first 3 months of working, in 3 days, it was back to back to back. My sister was real good friends. Lauren, remember Lauren?
I remember Lauren.
And Lauren, her and my sister was like best friends at the time. And my sister knew I was getting into media because I really got my first deal at 15 and shit. Like I really been a rapper, bro.
Right.
So my sister knowing I've been in this music, like Cap One used to answer my calls. Like when I was 14 at TF South, I would call Cap like, Cap, what this sound like? He'd be like, yeah, that's it. Or I would call him and be like, Cap, what this sound like? He'd be like, nah, call me back. Cap was the first rapper that took me to the radio station. Mm-hmm. Cap was the first rapper I ever seen type his verses on a laptop.
Yeah.
Rapping in the booth and stuff. And then Cap, I met Cap at the state buildings when I was like 15, bro. It was like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night. Cap had the spinners on the expedition.
The money belt.
Come on, man.
Like, the money belt. The Guac Boys.
What I come from, bro.
Come on, man. Yeah.
My sister knew I've been outside my whole life, but now that I'm older, I'm getting out of the streets and all that. I'm doing all this. So then she started alley-hooping that, and then I started going places like Moses was supposed to go part the Red Sea, but he had to do what God told him to do when he got there. Mm-hmm. So you got to do your part, but you also have to, God to get you there, but you got to do your part.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have to do your part, bro. So I started doing that, dog, and yeah, man, that thing just start flowing. So I called Friday. So I called and Miss Rainey picked up the phone. Shout out to Wall City 2 Times.
2
She
plus
picked
2
up the
was
phone,
happening.
and I give her my spiel. Yo, my name's Dolla. I'm from Gary, Indiana. I got this platform called Dream Rich TV where I interview all the rappers, singers, promoters, tattoo artists in my area. I would love to come down and check out the school. She's like, all right, come on. Uh-huh. So before I get there, I send her all my information. She check it out. And when I get there, she give me this interview. She like, boy, you cold. I'm like, thanks. She like, even if you can't get approved for school, I need you to come on as a like a liaison type of thing. I'm like, all right, cool. She was like, yeah, because you got too much content, bro. And like everybody trying to do this, like even if you don't get approved, we got to get you some. I'm all right, cool. Mm-hmm. So I still had some of that 40 left. Okay. So when I go to school, I got like 30. When I go meet with Miss Rainey, I got like 30, 40 videos up already on YouTube that I've already been shooting, editing, coming up with all this stuff. So I get there and the lady like, yeah, we like it, but you got to prove it. You got to pay $2,400 in order to come into the school because as a kid, and this is life is important because, you know, when you come out of high school and stuff, people want you to go to college and want you to do stuff, but you do it for them and not yourself. And that'll put you in a position later that you have to pay your way out of. Right. So when I graduated, I went for Lincoln Tech, but I didn't want to fix on no cars.
That was your thing.
But my mama wanted me to do something. You feel me? So I went to Lincoln Tech, but I never finished. So now that I want to do something for me and I go sign up through financial aid, they're like, yeah, but you owe $2,400.
Exactly.
You feel me? So it was a dilemma, bro. It was like, pay the money, you know, and have to pay this 14, 15 bands when you're done learning this education from Illinois.